Hey, Diego, you're the first one. Ciao. Hello, Simo Peru, hello, Alfie, hello, Pamela, hello, Junior, hello, Victor, hello, Isto Guadanoisis, Joy Gaskell. Oh, how many? Ciao. Hi all. It's just arrived She-Wolf film. I'm inviting her. So guys, today we are hosting Emily Skye. Just a moment. Feel free about her careers in the film industry. Hey.
Hi.
Ciao. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We do. We are here to inspire. So we.
Yes, we are.
We suggest to start about your career in the film industry soon and share all beautiful thoughts to stay creative in this period of quarantine for all people out there is joining this live. So a quick introduction about you, and next feel free to share anything can help people out there to stay creative in this period.
Awesome. Sounds great. Hi, I'm Emily Skye, She-Wolf Films. We're just hanging out in our house, quarantine vibes. This is, right now, currently, I'm working on a feature film. We were supposed to start filming in May, but obviously everything is postponed right now. But this shirt, I don't know if you could see it, but I'm wearing a shirt that is obviously Duel, excuse me, by Steven Spielberg. And the film that I'm working on is highly inspired by Duel. So it's called Rage, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm really excited to direct my first feature film. I've been doing short films. I've done a lot of editorials. I've done a lot of documentary work. Everything's been leading up to finally being able to do my first feature film directorial debut. I'm also a cinematographer, but I most of the time shoot my own things. So I'll write and direct, and then I'll camera operate on my own projects. The feature films, I am going to bringing in other DPs so that I could focus more on directing, and then I'll also camera operate as well. Staying busy in this quarantine is definitely challenging. It's okay, guys, if you just want to chill out and watch a good movie or a good show and take it easy. But then if you really want to be creative, write something, do a vision board, do live streams, connect with other filmmakers around the world, because we are all here trying to stay busy. So there's always learning opportunities. Yeah, there's always learning opportunities by reaching out to other filmmakers and just growing in that way as well. So, yeah, okay. That's what I'm doing right now.
Which was your first role in the film industry? How you started as first role?
Okay, so the very beginning, how I actually got into filmmaking was I used to model. I was modeling with Wilhelmina Models, traveled doing that. And I already knew I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I didn't know how to get in. So I used modeling to kind of get in the door when I was in my young teens. Then I started working with Michael Mann, the director, who did Miami Vice, Last of the Mohicans. And that was my moment of knowing that I was going to be a director and not just do it as a hobby anymore. So after that, I raised money and I made a short film that was around 45 minutes long. And then I started working with a radio station that had new artists coming through, and I was directing and shooting music videos. So that's how I kind of started to move through. I think music videos is a really good way to get into the door. There's so many artists, so many talented artists, and they're always looking for videos. So that was a really good learning experience because it taught me how to be swift and be efficient and turn around projects quickly. And then, there's good money in that too. And then I transitioned into narrative when I optioned a book series.
you want to talk also about the process behind a feature film, a documentary, also a music videos, to inspire people how to start and go forward step by step in the industry?
Of course. So everything starts with prep. You really need to do pre-production on any set. Doesn't matter if it's a music video, a documentary, a feature film, a short, even editorial films. You need to prep. So shot listing, getting your crew involved. It all starts there. Shot listing is a huge thing. You want to make sure that everything is organized and ready to go. Budget is a huge thing as well, making sure everything's accurately budgeted so that you don't go over budget and that you don't make anyone upset by asking for more money. So prep is key. You need prep with everything that you do, and it starts there. Filmmaking starts in pre-production. And obviously the most fun parts of it is being on set and filming, but everything starts in a house, in a studio, in a room full of other people, and really hashing out how the film is going to be.
So this moment is also a good starting point for many people to use these methods.
This is it. Now is the time. If you're planning a short film, use this time to do all your pre-production now. Even if you're waiting for finances to come through and everything, you can start that right now. Building your team, everything.
I want to ask also to the community, feel free to ask anything into this related topic. I'm trying to scrap in the comment. There's a lot of comment, but I saw still a question now that what is the name of the first short? I pin a question. You read the pinned question? What's the name?
So the name of my first short film is called Lily, and no one will ever see that because that was 15 years ago, and it was a huge learning experience. But I do have a couple films that are coming out this year and a documentary, a docu-series. It's a traveling whiskey show called Vendor Stash. If you go on my page, you can click actually in my bio, or you'll see all the handles in my bio, and you can click that and you can see my work. I have a show on Amazon Prime called The Erectors. It's about two single moms trying to make it in Hollywood as filmmakers, inspired by true events. So that's some of my work that you could see currently right now. And the feature films, we're waiting on that until, quarantine is up and we can all start to work again. But for now, like on my page, I have a lot of BTS and clips from my films, but everything's in my bio. So you can click around and you can find everything on my website too.
Okay, it's right the question of the year.
Yes. What? Yes. Yeah. Well, I think you learn more on set, to be honest. On a working set, you could be a PA and start working immediately, work your way up, starting to develop those relationships that are so important. Relationships is everything, guys. So we're in a time where you can go to YouTube school. You can learn on YouTube how to use, there's so many tutorials about cameras and all of that, but really the best school is being on set. If you want to go to film school, do it. There's, I'm not saying don't go to school, but there's so many tools right here that you can use for free and begin right now. You don't have to wait a couple of years to actually start making your dreams happen. You could start today. That's the beauty of filmmaking, is that we learn from our peers. So. Okay.
There's another ask, does age matter in filmmaking?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't think so at all. I think you could be a filmmaker and you're freaking, as young as you want to be. It's all about experience, right? So if you're doing this and you're racking up your films, your music videos, there's no age to creativity. There's no age to your talent or your skills. It all starts with actually getting up and doing it right now. So, I mean, I'm working, I know I'm working with quite a few people that are younger than myself, and they're so talented and they're so much further ahead of myself when I was their age. So I think age is not, it's just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
What is good pitching? Many people is asking about how to approach a brand. I also heard a question about this.
Yeah.
Also starting with social media. Next, we can talk about it.
Yes.
Let's talk about pitching.
It's so important. You need to have all your materials ready. Have multiple ideas ready, so multiple pitch decks ready, just in case if you're pitching to an investor, a studio, or an agent, or whoever you're pitching, even to actors. Make sure to have a list of projects that you're working on, so that if they don't like one idea, you have another idea to present to them, and you're not losing out on that opportunity. Prep. That's the biggest step in pitching, is making sure you have your pitch deck, your script, your visuals, which are in the pitch deck, and your budget broken down, so that they have everything right there. They can look at it. You're not like, oh wait, let me get that for you, and then you're losing out on an opportunity. So over prepare, and that's the best you can do. And if you're getting ready for the pitch meeting and you have all your materials ready, practice to another person. Practice that pitch, that under 1 minute elevator pitch, a little bit longer of a synopsis pitch. Memorize it all. Practice to your friends, to your parents, to whoever will listen, so that you feel really confident in speaking to whoever it is that you're talking to.
Okay. There's another question from followers. How can I break a creative block? Especially in this.
Oh man, everybody has their own way of breaking a creative block. For me, I'll go to the beach, but unfortunately our beaches are closed. But maybe you can go for a walk, or you can watch a movie that inspires you, or read a book that you really love, or just talk to somebody else that really motivates you. Another creative person. Just have like a creative session of just talking to them. I know when I'm struggling, I'll call some of my good friends and I'm like, listen, what are you working on? What are you doing? And then I get motivated by hearing all the really awesome things that they're doing. And then they start giving me ideas and I'm like, oh, got it. And then I'm able to get back to what I'm doing. So absolutely use your friends. Ask for that help, or walk around, or watch a good movie. That's what usually works for me.
Okay. I want to talk about social media for people that have to start a personal brand and build a journey also with the help of some brand that support your work, your journey, and how people have to choose some selected brand, not all the brand to do only some sponsored posts, but in my opinion, it's so important that someone have to choose only brand that really trust in, not all the brands to do simple advertising. What's your opinion, and what are your suggestions about this?
So I feel that social media is very important. That's our resume today, guys. Showing what we're working on, being positive in your posts, inspiring others. All of that helps people find you and be like, oh, they'll be able to look on there and see if they want to work with you right away. So when I get approached by a lot of brands, and I'm very selective on who I choose to represent, and I like to give honest feedback on the brands that I'm using. And I will tell somebody, what I don't like about something or whatever, but I'm very nice about it. But you should choose wisely, because everything that I use on my sets currently. I don't just do something because someone wants to pay me to advertise. I actually don't do that very often. I really have to believe in the product and to actually promote it, because I just don't believe in false advertising. I don't want someone to get that product and be very unhappy with it, and then it comes back on me and the brand because I wasn't being honest. So honesty is key, choosing your brands wisely, supporting things that you really believe in at the end of the day. And that's what's important to me.
Okay. Now someone asked, describe something about your equipment, please. So you can also say it.
Yes. So right now, because we're in quarantine, I can't be at the studio where I rent Reds and Alexas and a bunch of also really amazing lenses like Cook, Kowa, Panavision, Cinevision. I love all types of glass too, vintage, anamorphic. That's my style. We will have an amazing live stream on some of those products, like the gears and the lens, like the cameras and the lenses that I use. But for right now, I have to be in my home, and all the studios are on shutdown right now. So for gear that I personally like to use is you see a lot of red on my page. That's because I work with a lot of platforms that require red footage. But I do love the Alexa Mini LF. I got to use that camera a couple weeks ago on a little film that I was able to put together. I'm really, really pleased with the Mini LF, actually. So inspired by it, I actually want to purchase one myself because I was really blown away by what that camera is capable of doing. And I used it with a Cook Pontros, which are really, I love Cook. You can't go wrong with a Cook look ever. So, but my everyday content videos, fun little things that I do, I have a GH5, which is a really great mirrorless camera. She's very impressive. A lot of people are starting to learn about her. She has a built-in stabilizer that is so imperative when you're using a small mirrorless camera because you don't need to rely on a gimbal all the time. You can actually do handhelds and it's smooth motions and you don't have to worry about it. When you're dealing with a Red or an Alexa, they're heavier cameras, so you're able to stabilize them easier when you're doing handhelds versus a mirrorless where you feel it jumble more. So that built-in stabilizer is a huge key and why I suggest a GH5 over a GH5S because there's no stabilizer in the GH5S. So we'll go into more gear when I have gear to show.
No problem. It's a perfect headline. What projects are you currently working on? Maybe the next one after this quarantine period.
Yeah. So currently I'm working on 2 feature films. One is called Rage, and then the other is called Significance. And both are feature films. One is based on a 8-book franchise that I optioned the rights to. It has a really big fan base like Twilight. And then the other is called Rage, and it's a thriller. And I'm really excited about that one because it's just got so many different cool elements to it that I'm excited to dive into, like a lot of stunts, a lot of topics that I believe in. So those are the 2 projects that I'm currently working on right now. And I'm also in discussion to DP a few projects as well with a really amazing woman director that I really look up to. So I'm really excited about that too.
Are you positive about the restart after this period? Because there's also a question about how to anticipate the industry change, all related about the COVID, the restart.
Yeah. It's definitely changing. Right now, it's definitely, everything is shut down. Panavision, they're shut down globally right now. No one's renting cameras. No one's renting out places to shoot. Everything is locked down. So it's pretty difficult. Even my own agent called me yesterday and told me that they can't do anything right now for us because it's just everything is shut down and we have to wait through this period. So it is very difficult. I'm really hoping that things turn around quickly so that everyone could get back to work and could get back to creating. Hopefully by the end of the summer. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, tomorrow or the next month or 2, but I think, staying positive in this time is all we can do, really, but just think about it. When all of this clears, there's going to be so much work because everyone's going to want to pick up the pace and get back on track. So people are going to look for hiring right after this, I believe, too.
Okay. There's one guy that is asking, when you DP, what's your relationship with the director? Let's talk a bit about the relationship in the different roles when you are...
Okay, so between like the cinematographer and the director, like the different roles of that. So being a director, you're the leader of the ship. You are at the head. You have to oversee every single element of the film. So, even wardrobe, just shots, your actors, obviously. Basically, everything has to go through you as a director to make sure that you're leading the ship in the direction that it needs to go in. And your relationship with your team is imperative. Communication is imperative. Like, you need to know how to communicate with everybody on your set. For me, I started out, I was a writer-director, and then I fell in love with cinematography. I've always had a camera in my hand since I was like 6 years old. And I started to then feel confident enough to bring in cinematography and directing at the same time and learning how to play with both, because there's nothing like being behind the camera and being with your talent at the same time and being able to really capture those moments. But again, when you're dealing with a director and a cinematographer, when I'm hiring a DP, I always like to see how our relationship is, if there's chemistry between us, so that we can all speak the same language and get along as a team. It's very important to choose your team wisely because you're going to be working with them for a really long time. And a director, they're with a project from concept till the end of post. Whereas like a cinematographer will come in usually like 2-3 weeks before filming begins to prep. So there's just so many different elements to both roles. Obviously the cinematographers, their job is to make sure the shots are pretty and the lighting is correct, and speaking with the gaffer and everybody, all the grips and everybody, to make sure everyone is doing what they need to do. But it goes even deeper than all of that. But that's a short answer. I don't want to go too long, with that. But pretty much that's what it is.
I'm trying to scrap. There's a lot of questions.
I know. I'm sorry.
Trying to selecting some, and there's also about the color in the set, and maybe you can also talk about the color and the process in post-production you use mostly, because there's also a question about the platforms.
When I'm coloring, I actually don't color. I have a colorist in California that I work with. He's really amazing. I feel like that's a whole job in itself. It's just an art to be a colorist. I don't, want to say that I can do everything. Yes, I know how to color, but I am not a colorist. I have people that are so much more skilled at it than I am. And so I work with so many talented people in the industry. Like, I don't edit my own films unless they're, smaller things like small content videos or, like I did a short film that I edited just because it wasn't in the budget to hire out like an editor to edit. Then, you get a colorist and you get sound design and all of that. It's important to do things correctly and not rely solely on yourself the whole time, because there's so many skilled people in those specific places. So
I think is the best way too. And which platform do you use to collaborate in the best way to show work to the client, to receive feedback on each other on the same work?
So, so I show my work on Vimeo. So I'll do private links to films and things that I can't share publicly. Because Vimeo has password protections. It really has a really great quality. So you're watching it in more of a 4K look, even though it only really goes to 1080. They say 4K, but it's really not. But it's still a really great quality. And that's the best way that I showcase my work to other financiers or anybody else that I'm trying to get a job from. Like, make your reel. I have a show reel. Always update your reel with your new work in it. That's a huge thing, to put all your work, your best pieces together for someone to see in under a minute. I think that's really great, something that will highlight everything that you're doing. So those are some of the, but everyone has their preference. It's all, it's subjective.
Oh, it's just arrived a big text question. Let me check, because mostly are so similar. Can you read? Yes, so important, so many people will.
So many people think they can do everything and make a film film fully solo, but they forget that the film is collaborative. And yes, it is. It's a collaborative. And that's exactly what filmmaking is all about. It's not about you and all that you can do. Yes, I can edit and I can do all of these things, but I need those people that really, that's all they do. And that's their skill. And that's why you bring them in, to make your project even better. You need those other voices in there. Because it's just that, it's collaborative.
Yeah. Do you think now is the best time to do product shot since we are all at home? Also,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I have a few products that I need to do pictures for and videos for and do a review. I haven't had time to do it just because I've been still taking meetings and I've been doing a lot of stuff with my partners still. But it is a really good time to make those. And if there's a product or a brand that you really want to work with and you have like any kind of camera to shoot with, do a little video of it. Take a picture with it. Get noticed and tag them, because then you could get sponsored. That always works too. Take this time to try to get more work and get noticed so that you can get that sponsorship as well.
Okay, one of my questions. What are your best inspiration? The best director on you inspire, or also cinematographer? Your best source you find inspiration for your work?
Reid Morano is a huge inspiration to me. She's a mother. She was a cinematographer at first, and she was pregnant working on sets. And her story is freaking incredible. And then when she finished chemo, she directed her first feature film called Meadowland. And as a mother, a single mother in this industry, she just inspires me on so many different levels. Sorry, an Amber Alert just went across my screen. She's a huge inspiration to me. So, Reid Morano, I love you. I think you're awesome. You're talented. You inspire not just women, but men, all filmmakers. So, yes, Reid Morano. Yeah.
And arriving similar question about lenses for those that joined only now. We talked about setups. We talked about a lot of topics. So if you want, feel free to share whatever you think is perfect for this moment. So I think we talked a lot of.
We did. Are you gonna share this in your story when we're finished, so that people can just like watch through if any of their questions? Because I see some people coming in later and asking some of the questions we've answered. Problems. Here's a good one. Problems faced and how you wish you knew. There's always going to be a problem on set. There's always going to be something happen. It's just finding solutions around each thing that you face. I wish when I first started out, I knew that I can really rely on my peers for guidance. I felt like I had to do things myself. But as I grew as a filmmaker and learning that there's no ego, you shouldn't have an ego in this industry, and there's no need to compete with each other because there's work for everybody if you're making your own work. And at the end of the day, if someone wants to work with you, they're going to work with you. So I would say, at first I was really competitive when I first started out because I didn't understand that. But as I grew as a filmmaker and feeling confident in myself, I learned that there's no need to compete or to have an ego at all, that we're all here to make a good project, and that that's what it comes down to.
Okay, there's a question about your favorite lights, best motivation in filmmaking journey, and I think about the question.
The best motivation in my filmmaking journey, never giving up. So I have a story, right? Like never giving up. I have a story so this book series that I've been working on it for 8 years. Originally, it was a TV series, and I was told that I could never direct, being a first-time director at the time, I could not direct a episode of my series, never allow it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait. I'm going to hold off so that I can grow my work and that I could prove myself more, and so that I can actually direct my series. And now it's going to be films. They're all going to be, it's going to be a franchise. And now I get to direct my feature film, which before, as a woman in the industry, even 8 years when I first started out with this book series, I didn't have those opportunities. So I wasn't given those opportunities at first, but now at this time, it's never better for people that are looking for diversity. They're looking for those voices. I feel all voices need to be heard. Everyone has a story to tell. So if you believe in a project and they're telling you cannot do it because you don't have X amount of skills, hold on to that project, guys. Don't give it up to somebody else. Hold on to it. Do other projects to build up, your resume, to build up, to prove yourself essentially, and then go back to it. Because in this industry, nothing is tomorrow. It all takes time. It's just about how much do you want it. So, long story.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think you had a beautiful experience in different topics, in different aspects. So I'm so happy and proud to have you as a guest today. And
I really appreciate it.
I'm scrapping the last question, but how do you find a producer for your film? This is something interesting. And
yeah.
I think we also...
Go ahead. Do you want to answer too? I'm doing all the talking.
No. Go you.
You want me to say? Okay. All right, cool. So for producers, I also produce at first because I have to get my projects moving to a point that I could bring in another producer. So it's always important to do a little producing yourself. I'll do a little bit of creative producing. And then how I find producers, honestly, lately I've been finding them through social media. I've been very fortunate enough where I talk to everybody. I'm super nice. And then you get those moments of really getting each other. And then you're like, hey, let's collaborate. Let's work together. And then it just happens organically. I never just target people and I'm like, hey, produce my film. Or, hey, can you do this for me? Like, I never go into anything with that kind of mindset. I always go into things with just trying to organically build a relationship. And then if it clicks, it clicks. And if we want to collaborate, wonderful. But use social media. There's so many people here right now doing nothing. You can take this time to start looking for people that you would possibly want to work with and just build a relationship with that person. And if it clicks, then there you go, and they like the materials, then that's how you really get a producer. It's not.
Maybe some connection problem, guys. Just the time that Emily reconnect. So, okay. problem.
No worries.
There's a lot of saturation in the internet in this period because everyone is
everyone's on.
yeah. So no problem. Feel free to
Yeah.
to go.
So do you favorite lights? Do you prefer tungsten or HMIs or LED? It really depends on what you're working on, like what kind of set. Every set you have an X amount of time. I love quasars when I'm doing something quick and I need to just set up lights really quick. I love quasars. Like the Rainbow series is really awesome. They're versatile. Lupo lights are great too if you're looking for something like that as well. Obviously, I love tungsten. HMIs are great too. It really depends on time, and your budget. I mean, I love ARRI lights, so it's like, what is your budget? So that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and also the film crew, depending on how many people is involved in a specific work.
Exactly.
To set up your So, what are good color grading? She already replied that not manage yourself, but prefer to involve other talented people, more skilled in this aspect. So, there's someone happy finally to see you in video.
Yeah.
Greetings from a lot of part of the world. It is hard to manage in the small screen.
I know, I'm like trying to get close.
It's crazy. Instagram have to improve this aspect because it's so hard.
I know. I wish we could do it on desktops,
Yeah. Tell me about the process. We talked already about this, the process.
What's your opinion about Sigma art? And my gosh, we could have a whole discussion on lenses, guys. I think can we save lens questions for when I'm in a studio and I have like lenses and I could talk about it more? But I like Sigma. I think Sigmas are great. I think they are underrated, and I feel like they're great lenses.
There's a suggestion or an idea about a documentary on coronavirus. What do you think?
I'm sure there's going to be a documentary on the coronavirus. I'm sure there's going to be many movies on the coronavirus. I feel that that's probably what's going to happen. You'll probably see a bunch of that in 2021.
Your opinion about Indian cinema?
I think there's a lot of great. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great Indian films. Bollywood is awesome.
Okay. I think you replied a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to talk about something on your like magic always.
Yeah, let me see. I'm considering buying a Sigma for my black magic. Should I? Why not? I mean, again, guys, lenses are subjective, cameras are subjective. I think the black magic pocket camera is a really great camera. I got to play with one a couple weeks ago and I was really impressed with it. Lenses, there's so many different lenses. That's a whole topic in itself. It really is subjective on what kind of look are you going for. Look on YouTube. You'll be able to see tutorials on different lenses and how they look and how they're, filming a subject. And that's how I usually, like when I first started out and I was learning about lenses, is I looked on YouTube to see how different lenses looked on different subjects. So that's a good starting place. If you're unsure about it, look up some examples on YouTube, and that will see if that's the look you're going for or not, because lenses really determine how your project's going to look. So
it's just right. An interesting question. What background do you have educationally, or did you start on your own?
I started my own, and then I also started at school. So I started with Michael Mann. Like, I worked on his sets, and then from there I did 2 short films, and then I decided to go to film school. I did film school for about a year, and then discovered that I learned way more on working sets and being with peers that are actually doing it versus waiting a year to shoot something. So that's what I did. I read a lot of books. I love Sidney Lumet making movies. I think that's a really great book to read. Always read, guys. There's so many great books out there. Even when you're in school. So if you're in school, you can start making short films now with your friends. Why not? You have a classroom full of people that are in school with you. Start doing stuff in the meantime, so that you're not wasting time. So that's that.
That's a question about fundraising. Any advice?
So it all depends on how big of a budget you want. A lot of people use Kickstarter. Crowdfunding sources are hard. It's going to be hard to do that right now because people are losing their jobs. So I wouldn't suggest trying to crowdfund right now. You might be a little disappointed because people aren't as active on it as they usually would be. I would look at investors, to be honest. Find people that that love films. It's all about pitching and being prepared. How I got money was also you can get brands and things like that in your product placement. That's a really great way to raise money. If there's something that makes sense in your script, like a product or something, you can reach out and have them put the product in your film, and you get X amount of money to have it in your film, and that's a good way to raise capital. There's so many different ways to raise money. Start with the people you know, and ask people if they know anybody that's interested in working on a film. So
there's a question more how to classify a good actor, but I want to expand the question about how the relationship with a good actor and the communication with the actors is important.
Communication is everything. Obviously, what makes a great film is a really great script, a really great cast, and beautiful cinematography and lighting, in the shots. And obviously, the director works hand in hand with the actors to make something come together beautifully. But everybody comes together to make a project really great. But it starts with the script and the actors, to be honest. So it really depends on what you're looking for. You want somebody to be natural. For me, when I'm casting, I never go into a casting with a specific look or ethnicity. I keep it open-minded, and I just see what that actor, how that actor makes the character come to life. And sometimes I'm really blown away by something I never even thought of. So let the actor do their job first. Don't over-direct them. Let them do them. And if there's things to tweak, you can guide them along the way. And it's so important to make your set a safe place for your actors to feel like they can be vulnerable and that you protect them. You should be protecting everybody on your set to begin with. You should be Mama Bear or Papa Bear, making sure everyone's fed, taken care of, and that they feel safe. So it's important for your actor to feel like they are protected at all costs and that they can be vulnerable and give their best performance. So, yeah.
There's another question. I want to explain the question. You are one of the most relevant inspiration for the women in film. What do you suggest to other fellow filmmaker girls?
There's going to be hurdles no matter what industry you're in. Women in this industry were critiqued, I feel, 100 times more. I feel like people that are all ethnicities also struggle with a lot of critiquing as well. But at the end of the day, you have to know your self-worth and what you're doing, and that you're doing good projects and you're working with good people. And what people have to say on social media or wherever, it doesn't matter, because that's their opinion. That's not you. They're going to judge you no matter what. I mean, I get judged on my frickin' shoes that I'm wearing. I'm wearing boots, by the way, and I get judged on that. So there's hurdles for everything. Just know who you are and what stories you want to tell. And there's going to be people that love you. There's going to be people that hate you. And the people that hate you, it doesn't matter, because you know who you are and you know where you're going. And those that have nasty things to say about you, they're not doing anything. Because if you're really doing something, you don't have time to hate on other people. So
it's the bad mistakes to overthink about the others, Georgie.
Yes, exactly. Focus on you.
We have less than 10 minutes. Next, Instagram stops the live. So, guys, the last raffle of question, if you have something different from the one we already talked, how to work with always set up. Feel free to go to the end with one of your...
Yeah, I'll do one thing.
For the community, for the people that have to stay inspired.
To stay inspired, I think it's just important to watch live streams, to do live streams, to talk to your peers, love people, oh, hey! Hi! Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Hi there! See, this is quarantine life. Parent life. Mine's upstairs right now.
It's the difficult part to run a large community.
Right?
We are getting three times messages, and it's so hard with him to manage everything.
I love it. I love it so much. Being a parent is a blessing, Yeah. You don't have to give up your dream when you become a parent. You could still balance both. And that's what I'm doing, being a mom. I have a 7-year-old, and you just have to learn how to balance the time between both. So if you guys have any more questions for me, come to my page, send me a DM. I'll answer things that are related to film. So if you feel like your question wasn't answered and you have a little more questions to ask or whatever, send me a DM. I'm happy to answer film-related questions. So. Yeah.
This will post line for the next 24 hours. So for those that want to ask other question, we are free to receive it, to reply also in DM, okay? So I want to say thank you so much. My English is a little tough. I was so happy to do this with you. And hope soon we can do another one, like we talked also from some rental or something like that.
I would love
to go back to, so people is always more happy to see gears, to have a real feedback, as we talked before. So,
I love it so much. Thank you for having me. Let's stay in touch. Thank you. And stay safe and healthy, guys. And until next time, guys, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Ciao.
A big thanks again.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right. Bye.
Oh.